Buddy, it's Garth here again. I really gave some thought to this particular topic tonight, only because I was doing some research for a project and came across some photographs. In particular, I'm trying to figure out which finger to point with. That one there, all right? That one there is why I'm doing what I'm doing today. That's Christie and his perseverance, the Christie story. And so I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about how I met Christy. I met Christy in New Jersey, through a mutual friend of mine, Paul, and we were, her computer people for a while, and then, we became friends, and it's how I got into the whole broadcasting, radio, because in the beginning, all I did was radio. And it I don't know, I had never planned to be doing radio of any sort. I was more, actually, I never thought I would ever be in a radio station, but it happened one day on my way. I was in Connecticut, and I had went to speak to the Connecticut Power Team. And back then, I was in the relationship and dating space as a coach. And on the way, I stopped to see a friend of mine, Terry, and she had started this thing where she was doing this thing called Blog Talk Radio. And, she says, "Oh, stop by and see me on the way home." And I did. And we were chatting. She was like, "Oh, you went up there. Oh, you should come talk on my show." And I'm like, "What show?" She's like, "Oh, I got this show on Blog Talk Radio." And I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." And she pulls out her calendar and she says, "Okay, what day you're available?" And we scheduled it. And I remember I did my first quote unquote radio show from upstate New York. My girlfriend at the time, Jackie, and it was fun. It was like 2 hours long, and some of my friends like called into the show, was asking questions. I had a blast, and for me, that was it. And then maybe about, I would say that was 2000, maybe nine. I don't remember the exact. I know it was 2009 for the show. Maybe it was 2009. Maybe it was late 2008. And Christy knew that I was a coach, and she knew that I knew a little bit about dating and relationships, and she was a matchmaker. She had a business on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan and in Washington D.C. And so one day she reached out to me and said, "Would you like to come on my show as a guest?" I said, "Sure." And then by the time we got to doing our first episode, I went from being a guest to a co-host with her. And so that's a picture of her and I. I think this finger here, her and I, in CBS radio studio in Manhattan. And I remember we were so nervous that we got there like real early. I got to her even earlier than that. And by the time we got done doing our season, we were getting there probably 20, 30 minutes before the show was supposed to start. I also remember too, because I got a parking ticket one time and it was $125. I was like, dang. But we had a good fun. I think we probably did about 16 or so episodes. And we would go in, and I think it was an hour long. And it was broken down. We had an engineer. We had two engineers in there to help us with it. And that kind of got me started in this whole idea of talking into a microphone. Actually, this microphone that you're looking at, I've had for over 10 years. Because one day I started out using a regular mic that comes with your computer, the one you plug in, USB, and it wasn't so great. And as I started out with this show called Finding Your Love Now. It was a podcast. And then I upgraded to a show called Chatting in Manhattan. And I remember switching over to a Yeti Blue mic, which I still have to this day. And it's like the next level up before this one. And I had a mixer. I don't have a different one than what I have now. It was ProSonos Fire Studio. I needed a computer just to run that thing, and Adobe software. And I had a lot of fun. We did a lot of episodes, chatting in Manhattan. We did a lot of episodes, interviewed a lot of people, and had a good time. And so I remember one time asking Christie, what does it take? And she said, Garth, if there's one thing I can ever tell you, and that is to persevere, to persist no matter what. Here we are almost 20 years later. I think Christie went out of the matchmaking business back in 2018. She was in it for almost over 20 years. And she was a big supporter of the work I was doing, and showed up at one of my events. And, and was a speaker. And she said, you just got to persevere, man. This is one thing I tell you, being in business. So this is for my entrepreneurial friends who have businesses, who have experienced ups and downs and sticking it out and persevering. This is for you. Because if you haven't had a business and you haven't been trying to figure out how to make payroll or just how to survive or get stuff done, you may not understand what I'm talking about. You might have a different experience, but when you got people counting on you, it's a different ball game. And so I never forgot it. And so tonight, as I was looking for, that photo, I came across some of these ones. That one there, work hard, dream big. That was in my old office back in Somerset. And so was this one here. There's only one way to succeed in anything, and that is to give it everything. Vince Lombardi. And behind me, that's Ricky Young. I did a couple of radio shows with him. That was my second segue into that. And since then, I've done a few with Jennifer Lewis Hall and some other ones. And over there, somewhere over there, yeah. That was back in the office there. My buddy Lenny, we were doing something. I don't remember what it was, but there was a whole film crew that came in and videotaped us all. And so I just kind of put all these pictures together because it reminded me there's a lot more I have of what it really takes to persevere and to stick it out. Because I can't tell you that there was a straight line to anything that I've done in my life. It's been like zigzaggy, like spaghetti. Just getting to get something done, just to stay focused. And it takes sometimes a lot of effort just to stay focused and stay on task, and not to get distracted by events or things that are going on around you. And a lot of times, people close to you, they don't really understand. They just see one thing, they just see one thing one way, and they don't know, Oh, thank God for my mother. She was always a big fan. But what I've learned is caused me to develop nerves of steel almost in some instances. Because I think these circumstances, these situations, they build you up, they give you muscle, they give you things that you didn't know you had before, and it makes you really commit. So as I said, I did a Joe Bauer course the other day, 5 Moves to Monetize, and I'm getting ready to launch some programs, and I feel pretty comfortable knowing that that over these past 20 years doing what I've been doing, that I can teach and I can make a difference and transform a person's life. And I loved actually talking into a camera. I didn't know I loved it so much until like these last few years. Last year I did 366 live videos every single day, a topic. As a matter of fact, I haven't stopped. So I'm now into the second year of doing it daily. This is one of these videos. This is one of them. It goes to part of the series. And years ago, I did it on Instagram, and it was only, I would talk about gratitude. I only had one subject, and it was grateful. What am I grateful for? And then I, initially when I started doing this talk radio thing, it was behind the scenes. So it was just a voice behind a microphone. And then it was always a voice behind a microphone. As a matter of fact, it wasn't until recently that, I went in front of camera when I started doing lives, but it was always a voice behind the microphone. And all the work that I've done, all the interviews. I've probably done over 100 interviews, uh, all audio based. Some really fascinating people. I mean, once I had a chance to interview Jack Canfield, John DeMartini. There was some interesting folks. And then when you come from behind the scenes and you're live on camera, there's things that you got to pay attention to, right? It's like, at least if I was talking to you, I wasn't on camera, I could be doing something else, or talking into a mic, and it doesn't matter if I'm close or far. I'm not worried about this green line that I couldn't get rid of. Just got to do some research on lighting. Maybe there's some backlighting I need or something like that. But it's fun. And I also think I can teach people how to do this as well too, because looking at a camera is basically what you see as a reflection of yourself. And if you're not right with yourself in that moment, it's really hard to connect to the camera. So you got to be right with yourself. You got to be right with who you are as a person. And, you got to give up the need to be worried about what other people might be thinking, or if you've got it right. Because I tell you, the more you do it, the better you get. So this is over 700 of these things I've done. A lot of them most of them I did on my phone. Most of them I did on my phone. I switched over to a desktop computer, a better camera, some good audio. You just got to keep doing it. And so that's what I do. So I found something that I enjoy, and this for me is more of a hobby, more than fun than anything else. But there's and then there's other like tools like OBS Studio. Like, oh my God, I'm getting into that too. I haven't even started to do that. Right now I'm using Streamlabs. Because it gives me the ability to go to multiple locations at the same time. Thank you, Eric. Eric turned me on to this. And so going back to Christie over here, over there, yeah, up there, yeah. Everything's reversed. She taught me to persevere and to hang in there no matter what. And when you can do that consistently, people think it's magic, but it's not magic. It's like life shows up, and things just work out. And it's not like you get lucky. It's just because you're consistent. Now, I've been writing my gratitude every single day for, this will be my 6th year. May of this year will complete 6 years. Not missed a day. And I've learned that no matter what is going on in my life, whether I'm happy, sad, angry, mad, lonely, in love, not in love, broke, rich, whatever it is, dealing with the loss of friends or a parent, because all these things have happened in the last 6 years. I've lost a few friends and a parent. Just being consistent every day makes all the difference. And it's stacking. I was talking about stacking the other day because I was reading a book, and it's that stacking, especially stacking on multiple skills. So what makes all of this work for me? I don't know a whole lot about broadcasting or lighting or anything like that. I'm learning some of these things as I go along. But I love technology, and I love to tinker, and I like to try things. And so that gives me a level of ability. And now I'm working with doing Tony Robbins events as a trainer. I know how to manage a room with 500 people in it. I know how to be an event with 10, 12, 15,000 people and get stuff done and to manage my state. I know what it's like to be doing an event and all of a sudden you lose power or you get disconnected from the studio, and you got to, keep people going. Yeah, I've experienced all these things. Every fear that I think I've had so far of, man, I hope that never happens to me, has happened to me while I was doing an event. Mouse stopped working, keyboard stopped working, camera stopped working. I got 4 cameras. So I've learned a few things from doing this. And so I just persevere. I just persist, because at some point, it's going to become second nature. And there's always more gadgets and things to get to make it more streamlined. But the thing is, when I started doing videos, back in 2010, and there were a few of them on Venmo. I got rid of most of them because Christie and I, we were going to do a TV show, and so I was trying to get rid of those. They were low quality. It wasn't that great. I mean, it was like, you want to talk. I had like those halogen lights, um, and I was doing it with my girlfriend back then, Jackie, and it was fun. And that's when I started to do video, and it was awful. I don't know that I'm that any much better now than I was before. Maybe I got a little bit better equipment. Some things are easier to do, but I just kept at it, and I'm gonna keep at it. And eventually, things will fall into place, and some gift will come from that experience. Just being able to persevere, man, is sometimes the only thing in life. I got one friend, man. He's working on all kinds of projects, raising millions of dollars, and dealing with challenges all the time. And most people will just shrivel up. I had one friend who worked on a multi-million-dollar project, and it collapsed on him, and he just kept going like it was no big deal. So, perseverance, it's definitely a quality that one should have, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you lead in a team of people, or you're doing something that no one's done before, and people are fighting you because they don't understand it. It doesn't make sense, because nobody likes change. I don't even like change, but I've learned to embrace it. So anyway, that was my thought. So work hard. And, as Jim Rohn would say, work hard on yourself. Right? Work hard on yourself. Dream big. Because no one else is going to dream big for you. And no one else is going to do what Vince Lombardi said. There's only one way to succeed in anything, and that is to give it everything. So just keep going. I hope that you find value in these things that I'm sharing. Some of it's just my life experience, some of the things that I've dealt with and been going through, and some things I'm dealing with right now. I particularly love that photo over there. This one over here, wherever, yeah, that one there. That was back in Somerset, man. It's a cool photo. That was a cool office my buddy Lenny had. It was like working for Google. That was a nice job I had there. So anyway, thank you, Christie, for that reminder, and for that pep talk many years ago, to just persevere and to persist, because that's what it takes to get ahead in life, especially when you're doing something different, especially when you're doing something that hasn't been done before, or at least, you're stepping out of your comfort zone. So have a wonderful day, everybody, night, wherever you are, because some of my friends, like, this morning for them. Some are sleeping right now. Some are just having their evening. It's just starting. So have a wonderful time. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, everybody.